Most people are not bad listeners. They are just scared of what happens if they go quiet. If you have ever walked away from a conversation and thought, I said a lot, but I do not think I landed anywhere, I get it. If you have ever watched someone talk and felt your chest tighten because you could not find a clean way to jump in, I get that too. A lot of us learned that being liked means being interesting. So we keep producing words like we are feeding a machine. Then later we wonder why we feel lonely even around people. Active listening is not a polite trick. It's a way of saying, I can handle you. I can handle your mood, your story, your pause, your uncertainty. I am not going to rush you so I can feel safe again. That is what people feel when you really listen. They feel safe, and safety makes people honest. I used to think listening meant staying quiet. I would nod, I would say the right small sounds, and inside I would be building my reply. I was not listening. I was loading. I was waiting for a gap so I could fire my point. And when I finally spoke, I would notice their eyes change. Not angry, just dimmer, like I had taken the wheel away from them. You can see it in real life. You are at work, someone leans in the doorway of your office or your cubicle. Their shoulders are slightly raised. Their hand is gripping a notebook like it is a shield. They start explaining a problem, and you can almost feel the pressure in your own body to fix it fast. Your brain starts sorting, labeling, searching for the clever answer. You want to be useful. You want to be competent. You want to be the person who knows. So you cut in early with a solution. You watch their face tighten. They say, yes, maybe, but their voice gets smaller. They leave with the same problem plus a new one. They feel unseen. What happened is simple. They came for understanding before they came for answers. Most people do. Even very logical people. Especially them, because they do not always have a place to put the messy part. Active listening is the skill of giving someone that place without drowning in it. When someone starts talking, there are two conversations happening. There is the story on the surface, and there is the meaning underneath. The surface is facts. The meaning is fear, hope, pride, shame, desire, control. If you only answer the facts, the person still feels alone with the meaning. That is why your advice can be perfect and still land badly. I think about a friend telling me they are thinking of leaving their job. The first time I heard something like that, I jumped to strategy. Update your resume. Talk to recruiters. Make a plan. It sounded responsible. But what they were really saying was, I feel trapped. I feel behind. I am scared I will disappoint people. I do not trust my own judgment anymore. My strategy skipped the part where they needed someone to sit with them in that uncertainty. Active listening is not passive. It is an action. It is a choice to put your attention on them, not on your performance. The first thing I do now is slow my body down. People think listening is in the ears. It is in the shoulders. It is in the jaw. It is in the hands. If my arms are crossed tight, if my foot is bouncing, if my eyes are flicking to my phone, my mouth can say all the right things and their nervous system will not believe me. They will keep talking fast, or they will shut down. So I plant both feet. I let my hands rest. I soften my face. I give them my eyes without staring them down. I let my breathing drop lower. That alone changes the room. Then I watch for what they are protecting. When people talk, they are always managing an image, even with close friends. They are trying to look reasonable or strong or easygoing or unbothered, so they will tell you the safe version first. They will say, "It is fine. It is not a big deal." They will make it sound like a minor inconvenience. But their fingers keep tapping their cup. Their laugh is a little too sharp. Their words come out clipped. That is the real content. The real content is the mismatch. If I want to listen actively, I do not call it out like a detective. I do not accuse them of feeling something. I just make space for the truth by being steady. I might say it sounds like you have been carrying this for a while, or I might simply stay quiet a second longer than normal. That extra second is powerful. Most people are used to being interrupted. When you do not interrupt, they often continue. And the second sentence is usually closer to the truth than the first. Silence is not empty. Silence is an invitation. A lot of people fear silence because they think it will feel awkward. But awkwardness is not always a problem. Sometimes awkwardness is the doorway to honesty. You can feel it when someone is about to say the real thing. They look away. They swallow. Their voice drops. If you rush to fill that moment, you steal it from them. If you stay calm, you give them permission to go there. I remember sitting across from someone in a relationship talk that had been building for weeks. The room was dim. The only light was the kitchen lamp. I could hear the refrigerator hum. They were explaining why they had been distant. My mind kept trying to defend myself. I could feel heat in my neck. I wanted to correct details. I wanted to say that is not what happened. But I noticed something. The more I prepared my defense, the less I could actually see them. Their face, their tired eyes, the way their shoulders sank when they said certain words. Active listening in that moment meant I chose connection over being right. So I did something that felt almost unnatural. I let them finish. I let a pause happen. I kept my hands still. I did not rush to fix my image. Then I reflected what I heard, not with fancy therapy language, just plain. You felt alone in this, you did not know how to bring it up, and you started pulling back to protect yourself. That was not agreement with every detail. It was recognition of their experience. And I watched their body change. They exhaled. Their eyes got wet. The fight drained out of the room. Not because I surrendered, but because I finally met them where they were. That is the persuasive part of listening that people miss. When you reflect someone accurately, you lower their need to prove themselves. When their need to prove drops, they become more flexible. They can hear you. They can consider your side. You cannot argue someone into calm. You can listen them into calm. At work, this is gold. Picture a meeting where a colleague is pushing back on your idea. Their tone is sharp. They keep repeating the same concern. You could interpret that as stubbornness. Or you could see the fear underneath. Fear of looking foolish if the project fails. Fear of extra workload. Fear of being ignored. If you respond only to the content, you might say, "We already covered that." If you respond to the meaning, you might say, "You seem worried we are moving too fast and you will be the one cleaning up the mess later." Now you are not fighting their words. You are addressing their reality. They feel understood, and once they feel understood, they stop swinging so hard. Active listening also means noticing what people do not say. Some people talk in circles because they are trying to be polite. They do not want to sound needy. They do not want to sound dramatic. So they hint. They drop little clues and hope you pick them up. If you miss the clues, they feel even more alone. If you catch them gently, they feel known. A friend says they have not been sleeping. They mention it twice. They laugh it off. That is a clue. A partner says they are fine, but they stop making plans. That is a clue. A coworker says they are slammed and they stop contributing in meetings. That is a clue. Active listening is catching the clue without pouncing on it. There is a line between curiosity and interrogation. The difference is your energy. Interrogation is tense. Curiosity is warm. I keep my questions simple. I ask for texture. What part of that was the hardest? When did you start feeling this way? What are you hoping happens next? Those questions do not corner someone. They open a door. And I do not stack questions. One question, then space. If I ask 3 questions at once, I am not listening. I am steering. Another mistake I used to make was turning the conversation into my story. Someone would share something painful, and my mind would search for a matching experience. I thought that was empathy. Sometimes it is. But often it is a quiet form of stealing the spotlight. It says, "I know what you mean. Let me show you my version." The person might nod, but inside they shrink. They came to be held, not to host you. Now, if I want to share my experience, I do it only after I have made them feel fully received. I let them be the center first. I might say, I have been through something similar. Do you want to hear it, or do you want me to stay with your situation? That small check-in is respect. Respect builds trust. Active listening also includes matters. This matters. Some people will pour and never ask about you. Some people will use you as a dumping ground. Listening does not mean abandoning yourself. It means choosing your level of engagement with clarity. I can be kind and still be honest. I can say, I want to give this my full attention. Can we talk when I am not rushing? Or I can say, I care about you, and I am not in the right headspace to go deep tonight. That is still active listening because you are responding to the reality of the moment, not performing politeness while resenting them. There is also a difference between listening to understand and listening to win. When someone criticizes you, your body will want to protect you. That is normal. You might feel your throat tighten, your face flush, your thoughts speed up. In that moment, active listening is emotional control. It is letting the first wave pass before you speak. I focus on one goal. Understand what they are trying to protect. Usually it is dignity. Usually it is closeness. Usually it is fairness. If I can find that, I can respond with strength instead of defensiveness. Strength sounds calm. It sounds like, I can see why that bothered you. It sounds like, I missed that. Thank you for telling me. Then, and only then, I add my perspective. I do not have to accept blame that is not mine.